a Philly where the birds take flight. Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Marcus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights. Dashing like a running back, hitting every play. Fly guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. Fly like an eagle soaring in the sky. Tone and Marcus always standing by. Bringing the heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Fly like an eagle soaring in the sky. Tone and Marcus always standing by. Bringing the heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry.
What's up, Tone? We are back. The last few days of being Super Bowl champions. The Pro Bowl is upon us. Media row. Vic Fangio might leave. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria, bro.
Listen,
What's going on, man?
what would it be if people couldn't find their angle at the Eagles? What would it be? What would it be? You can make an argument the Eagles are the most polarizing franchise in football.
I would agree.
Outside of the Cowboys, but they're polarizing for all the wrong reasons. I mean,
I would agree, bro.
you think about the Eagles, who moved the needle like us? I'm starting to embrace it now. I'm starting to embrace it. I'm shifting my perspective, Marcus.
you finally getting there, huh?
Now, that doesn't mean I'm above the bullshit. Because if I hear something I don't like, 9 times out of 10,
listen, man. What do they say? If you're gonna deal in the bullshit, everybody gonna stink.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm happy to be here, man. As always, you guys know the vibes. Y'all know the energy. Y'all know where our baldies be. You feel what I'm saying? This is the Bald Eagles podcast. He's Marcus Thomas. I'm your guy, Tone. This show's the second. You guys know how we give it up here. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to both channels. That's plural. Make sure you guys subscribe to Pro Fan Talk. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Chalk It Up Sports, man. Me and Marcus do this thing every week. During the season, you get your show twice a week, Sundays and Tuesdays. And during the off season, you get them every Tuesday evening. So make sure you guys stay locked in. We are supremely grateful for all the support you guys have been giving us thus far. All right, Marcus, this is our first time speaking officially since a few moves came down the pipeline.
Yeah.
So we're not going to waste no time. We're not going to pussyfoot around it. We are going to get right to it. Sean Mannion. Sean Mannion is in.
Yes, sir.
As the Eagles offensive coordinator. Josh Bernard is in as the Eagles pass game coordinator.
Happy with that hire?
Now, before we get there, I think it's important to note that, remember, prior to all of this going down, when Kevin Patullo was demoted or fired, the rumor was they were going to find some role for him.
I knew that wasn't going to stick, though.
And you and I ultimately knew that wasn't going to stick.
No.
But for them to bring in Sean Mannion, someone who's 33 years old, young guy, former quarterback coach for the Green Bay Packers, former NFL quarterback, largely was a backup and a reserve guy, but was coached under a lot of smart people, is connected to a lot of smart people. And you bring in Josh Bernard, former OC for the Buccaneers, also was the former pass game coordinator for the Buccaneers. He's been in the league for a little while, earning his keep, Yale graduate. He's been in the NFL since his college days. He's been interning. He's been doing all the things. So he's a guy that kind of, grinded his way up. So Josh Bernard and Sean Mannion have two very different paths to their current positions. So let's start with Sean Mannion. Let's start there. That hire comes through. Give me your instant reaction, and we'll go from there.
By the time I found out that he was a legitimate candidate, I started doing some homework, and I was like, I'm good with him. Because I saw once I looked at his history, you get over the age, then you look at his history, then you get to the comp. Obviously, everybody wanted to compare him to Kellen Moore because they have similar paths. Both of them came into the league as a coach very soon after their playing days was done. And their transition into being a assistant coach, coordinator to head coach was very short. Now, Mannion is still in the early stages of the path that Kellen Moore took. But it seems to me that based on what I heard, like the information from Matt LaFleur out of Green Bay, I was like, okay, because you don't just do that to anybody. If anybody doesn't know, Sean Mannion was interviewing for, I believe, like a pass game coordinator in Chicago, and he asked Matt LaFleur for help. Like, hey, can you basically saying quiz me to make sure I'm ready for this interview? And he blew LaFleur out of the water. So whatever LaFleur prepped him with to get him ready, Mannion knocked it out of the park. So much so that LaFleur told him, whatever happens in Chicago,
I got a job for you
if you want it. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Because Matt LaFleur ain't no dummy. And Matt LaFleur, some people would think not an easy guy to work with. And any coach that gives those type of accolades to somebody that young, that means something. And the first thing I thought of was, remember we always talk about the when I explained the Fletcher Cox, his comments after the 23 season.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wanted to give the axe to Nick Sirianni. And I always say, I heard what Fletcher Cox said about Nick Sirianni. And I was like, hold on. He didn't have to say that. And I'm saying this because what it did was it made me pause and rethink the situation. And I'm like, okay, he's getting a lot of accolades. And we're not the only people after him. So he must have some type of he must have something. And of course, everybody wants to, because he's so young, they want to use the Sean McVay comp, because McVay was what, 31 when he got the head coaching job? But if you're that young and even in consideration, and that's what I want to look at. If you're that young with no experience calling plays and you even get considered, whatever you're doing is working. And I have no doubt that Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni, and Jeffrey Lurie asked the right questions. Because if not anything else, they are thorough, sometimes to a detriment, because while we're being thorough, what did everybody think? How come don't nobody want the Eagles job? We just lost another one. It just this happened, and they need to hurry up. And people don't want to get out of their own way because they see what everybody else doing. And it's like, slow your roll, and let us take our time and get you. I think you said it, Tone. You got to get the right guy for the position. Wait on the right guy. Don't get the first thing that pops in front of your face. Wait for the right guy.
And the thing is, to your point, people how can I describe this? They're choosing to look at it through one lens instead of trying to look at it through both lenses. Imagine you wear glasses. One of your eyes is better than the other. I assume.
Facts.
You cover one eye, you can't do nothing. You cover the other eye, you can't do nothing. You can't get the full picture if you cover both of your lenses, if you cover both of your eyes. People chose to look at it from the perspective of no one wants this Eagles job.
Yep.
It's undesirable. It's not as sexy as people think. Who would want to go there? Either
low-hanging fruit.
Either you get hired or you get fired. Well, isn't that any job?
Every job? Yes.
But let's take it a step further. Like I said, they chose to look at it through that lens instead of saying maybe the Eagles, maybe it's not that people don't want the job. maybe the Eagles don't just want to give anybody the job.
Yes. And you got to give them credit.
Let's keep it real, Marcus. You see, maybe it's not. And I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. Maybe it's not that nobody wants the job. Maybe the Eagles refuse to give anybody the job.
Just any old person. Just like you ain't going to let any old person come and clean your house. You ain't going to let any old person watch your kids. You need some prerequisites. You need some references. You might want to see some things on your own. So, and like I said before, you don't know what Dayball is going to do. You don't know what Harbaugh is going to do. You don't know what Mike McDaniel is going to do.
Let me take it a step further. You know, Clint Kubiak is the hottest thing moving right now in coaching circles. When he go to Las Vegas, you don't know what he's going to do.
Don't know what he's going to do.
You don't know.
It's a whole different ball game.
Because at the end of the day, you
got to steer the ship.
We've seen bad organizations spit out good coaches.
Absolutely.
We've seen that before. We've seen bad organizations spit out bad coaches. I don't care how good of a coach you are. You can't out-coach a terrible infrastructure.
Hell, we've seen good organizations spit out bad coaches. We one of them.
Yeah. And we've seen good organizations uplift maybe what some may deem average coaches.
Yeah. At
the end of the day, it comes back to the infrastructure, right? Now, to my point earlier about not giving anybody the job, one may argue and push back and say, hey, Tone, who is this? This guy has no real experience. They did just give anybody the job. And ultimately, the man has to come in and prove his worth in weight and gold. He has to do the job. So I'm not sitting here jumping out the window and saying, hey, they got it right. I don't know that yet. And neither do you, Philadelphia. We don't know if they got it right. But if I'm looking at their process and I'm paying attention to the moves they make, forget what they say. Pay attention to what they do. And what they've shown you is that they are completely trying to reinvigorate this offensive coaching room. You can't get rid of your Super Bowl winning head coach. You just can't. He's arguably your most consistent coach since Andy Reid. He is your most consistent coach since
Love
Andy
him or hate him.
Love him or hate him.
He has done a better job here than Big Red did. You can't deny that.
So you have to put things in perspective and say, okay, they went young with this guy, 33 years old, and Sean Mannion. He's a former player. And you brought up the Kellen Moore angle, right?
Yeah.
Keep in mind, Kellen Moore, he went right to being a quarterback coach for Dallas.
Yep.
Straight pipeline. He was playing for Dallas last season. The following year, he's the quarterback coach. And then his second year, he becomes the OC. He was the OC for 4 years in Dallas. He became an OC his second year in the coaching ranks. Sean Mannion became a head coach in his third year in the coaching ranks. So my point is, this isn't unprecedented. Nah. The Eagles aren't reinventing the wheel with this hire. This has happened before, and it will happen again. But if you notice, it doesn't happen often. Typically, it's reserved for those guys who people just are blown away by.
Right.
Typically, it's reserved for those guys who people deem to be unique. Now, again, it all remains to be seen with Sean Mannion. He has to come in and prove it. And I want to keep reiterating that because I don't want people to get our positions confused. I'm optimistic about the hire. Granted, I was optimistic about Kevin Patullo, but I was optimistic for different reasons. When Kevin Patullo got the job, I was optimistic because he's been here and seen everything to the highs and the lows. Therefore, he should know what to do and what not to do. He clearly didn't get the message. Now, Sean Mannion, on the other hand, former player, has played in the league for, I think, about 10, 11 years. For the St. Louis and Los Angeles Rams. He was coached under Sean McVay, played for the Vikings, played for Minnesota. I'm sorry, that's the same team, excuse me. He played for Seattle. He was a practice squad quarterback back and forth. He was coached under so many guys that we respect and hold in high regard. He was coached by Sean McVay, like I said. He was coached by Matt LaFleur, Zach Taylor, Gary Kubiak, Clint Kubiak, Kevin Stefanski, Dave Canales, Grant Udinski. Grant Udinski is the OC in Jacksonville under Liam Cohen, right? Dave Canales, the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. It took him 2 years to get that team back into the playoffs. He's a good coach. You know, we all know what Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur has done. Say what you want about Matt LaFleur and his playoff success. I don't think most of those losses are on Matt LaFleur as a head coach. They extended them for a reason. And good head coaches are hard to come by. So Sean Mannion comes from good coaching stock.
Yeah.
And clearly these owners, these GMs, they're beginning to, and again, I said this doesn't happen often, but it happens. Kellen Moore is an example. Some of these organizations are clearly coupling that playing experience with that coaching experience, and they're using that as a way to justify the hire. Hey, he's a newer coach, but he's played for so long. He's been on sidelines. He's been in these quarterback rooms. But when you're a backup like he was, and you spend most of your time on the sideline, all you can do is study.
All you do is study and stay on that radio during the game.
That's all you can do is study and listen. He already had a headset. The only difference was he wasn't telling people what to do.
Yeah, and I try to tell people, man, everybody got the same question. Like, why we should have kept Patullo if we're gonna bring in somebody that has never played, called plays before. And I'm like, no. Like, you got somebody that less than 3 years ago was still on the NFL roster. That means he was still going to practice. That means he was still reading defenses. That means he was still calling blitzes, changing the pass coverage, going Roger and Louis for the offensive line. He was still in the mix, and he still has that muscle memory from how to be a quarterback, dropping back in the lane and reading your progressions. And because he's done that, he can empathize with what Jalen Hurts is going through and offer better feedback than just a regular old coach that's been on the sidelines.
And
that's, to me, that's the difference, and that's worth, to me, that makes up for any inexperience he may have from calling plays. Because remember, a backup sit there with his baseball cap on, but he got that radio in his ear, so he hears how it's being called. He's got a play sheet. He knows what's going on down a distance. He knows in the third quarter when it's fourth or when it's 3rd and 5 or more, and you in the red zone, you know that this team runs this defense 28.6% of the time. They blitz 34.8% of the time. He knows all of those analytics and is used to reading off that same sheet. So he's got the muscle memory that makes up for any lack of experience he'll have not being a play caller. He was the play callee. Trust me when I tell you, he understands how that sausage is made.
And I think also it was interesting how, again, the pipeline, he didn't take time off, then came back to coach the NFL. He didn't do none of that. He's been in the league since 2015 as a player and now a coach. He's been able to see the NFL offenses evolve over the many, many years. And he's seen some of the best offenses and how they've been able to evolve and create nuances within the same scheme or within said offenses, right? We've seen Sean McVay's offenses evolve over the years. We've seen the Minnesota Vikings offenses evolve over the years, right? We've seen Seattle's offenses evolve over the years, right? He's seen that. And I think that's something. A guy who's been in all these locker rooms, who understands, and you text about this part, understanding the language.
Yeah.
Understanding what's going on between the ears of these quarterbacks, right? And I think this will be the first time. Well, no, I can't say that because Brian Johnson was a former quarterback in college. But Mannion was a quarterback on the NFL level, be it a backup, but on this level, nonetheless. I'm just curious to see what he's able to bring to the table. He comes from a situation where he was able to, and don't let the stats fool you. When you look at the raw numbers, you say, Jordan Love didn't have a good year. But when you actually, if you've seen the games and you watched Jordan Love play and kept up with certain metrics, this was arguably Jordan Love's most efficient and effective year. Maybe the yards weren't there. He did miss some games or a couple games because of injury, but maybe the yards weren't there. But career high in passer rating and career low in interceptions,
He
career
looked
high
better.
in TD to interception ratio. He just looked better. Now the
He
outcome
looked
is still the
better.
outcome. He got hurt still, but he just looked cleaner. He looked cleaner and looked more on time. And I saw him throwing less off that back foot this year. Personally, I felt like he always had a habit of doing that when things got a little wonky for him.
Mhm.
So you couple that with the Malik Willis development. Malik Willis, not many snaps, but Malik Willis looked prepared every time he touched that field.
That's the best word.
That's a big deal.
He may have earned him some money because of that, three game stretch he had as a starter.
Mhm.
So, and it just goes to prove that when you are with the right people, and you can. I always say this when I was little. I was not the greatest student in school until I got to the stuff that I was interested in. Obviously, art, design, things of that nature. But I wish I would have had a teacher. I wish I would have had a teacher that could have taught me programming in a way where I could have understood it. That's what I found out about teachers. That's what I found out about coaches. The best coaches are not the guys that know the most. The best coaches and the best teachers are the ones that can figure out a way to teach you where you can understand it, because everybody's different. And the best coaches and the best teachers know how to bridge that gap. So again, Mannion being there, they not stupid. Howie is not stupid. Howie knows how to hedge his bets, and
I'm glad you said that because I'm glad you said that. Hedging your bet.
You don't make this type of decision unless you do your homework.
Yeah.
You don't. And we all know, if nothing else, Howie Roseman does his homework. So I'm not worried about this in the least. There's a reason they made this hire.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason they went and immediately hired Grizzard. So I'm good. Once again, let me get my hands up. Howie, you got it, bro. Got supreme confidence in you.
Mm-hmm.
So I just need to see, to your point, how him and Jalen vibe. Jalen can get along with anybody. But can somebody figure out a way to get the best out of Jalen? Brian Johnson couldn't do it, and they was friends.
And I don't think Jalen Hurts was terrible to Brian Johnson. It was just his touchdown to interception ratio just wasn't his best. But he was getting the yards. It seemed like he was more gunslinging it that year.
You know what? In my opinion, they didn't use him. You didn't use him to the best of his ability.
Yeah, it seemed like they just said, "Hey, just pass us out of everything."
Shane Steichen and Kellen Moore got the best out of Jalen.
Yeah,
he ran how he needed to run.
Skill sets.
Yep, he ran how he needed to run, and we got the best out of him. Now, I will say this: Brian Johnson was what, 23?
Well, as far as age goes,
no. That year he was the OC.
Oh yeah. That was
23.
Yeah.
So that's when the bottom fell out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to think, just like this year, if this year was pretty much all on the offensive line and Kevin Patullo. But in 23, if the defense plays better, I think Brian Johnson still has a job.
Yes, and also I'll say this though, but here's the kicker though. Brian Johnson didn't, and I don't think Brian Johnson was as bad as people say, but where things got spooky was those last 3 or 4 games of the season. It just seemed like they couldn't generate anything offensively. Anything. You lost to the Giants. You underperformed against the Cardinals, and you blew that lead. I mean, it just seemed like.
And that game in Seattle.
Yeah, in the game of Seattle, offense just bottomed out. The offense did bottom out in that last quarter of the season. That is a bona fide fact. But their defense was inconsistent all year long.
All year long.
So I mean,
exact opposite of this year.
yeah. Both seasons had their own tale of two sides of the ball.
Yeah.
So again, I am curious to see. I am curious to see what Sean Mannion can bring to the table. when it comes to Jalen Hurts. And you said Jalen Hurts can get along with anybody, but so that's not the problem, right? The problem or the goal shouldn't be to win over Jalen Hurts interpersonally. The goal should be to win Jalen Hurts over as a coach, coming in prepared, having answers.
Yeah, but you have to take into consideration his age. You have to. That's to me, that's not a normal relationship. That is the same. If anybody in the chat, if you played in college, if you was playing college ball, regardless of sport, there was always an intern. And it was usually somebody that played football that may have been a senior when you was a true freshman, and now they're interning to be an assistant coach. And you're like, wait a minute, we used to practice together. So the dynamic is a little bit different, even though they are considered a coach. You got a year where you actually played together, and then maybe they went out, did a couple things, and then come back. And then by the time you were senior, your 5th year senior, or hell, nowadays a 6th or a 7th year senior, you got a coach that went away for 3 years. Now they're a coach, and that's somebody you played with. Y'all were equal. Now he's above you as a coach, but that dynamic is a little bit different because that's somebody like y'all used to go to the parties with. So there, you have to take into consideration that age. That's why I think when I use that phrase, the muscle memory is still there, and he'll be able to relate to Jalen a lot better. I'm not necessarily talking about being buddy friends, but whenever you start a job, Tone, when you start a job, you will immediately know if you go into an office setting, it takes you about a week to figure out the people that you jive with, where your personalities align, and the people that you don't.
A week.
And the people that you
Marcus,
exactly.
I'm
being gracious with the week.
It takes me one day.
One day. And then you can say, well, you don't like such and such? You already know. Well, why not?
It takes me one.
You just know.
Listen, I just got finished going through that in November last year. Yeah, I told you about the new job I started last November. That's why my schedule's kind of been all over the place this this go around, and things kind of got a little weird for me. But it took me 1 day, 2 at the most, because you don't meet everybody in the same day.
Right.
So to your argument, let's just say a week, because you can't meet everybody in the same day. Let's say a week. You're right. Let's say a week. But in that first day, maybe not everybody, but you can already start to make the determination who you can rock with, who you can't.
Yep.
Who you got to be on your who you got to be on your P's and Q's around. Who can you relax a little bit around?
Yep. You know who coming in late for break. You know who turning in MTPC reports late. All of that type of stuff. And then there's always somebody that's always in trouble, looking for somebody to get in trouble with. So you got to watch where you step, especially if you're in a new environment. So, absolutely. But we saying all of that to say you know pretty quickly if your personalities vibe. You know pretty quickly if you ain't got to be buddy friends, but you know who you can work with and why, and who you can't. You know the people that you got to work with them, but they don't ever want to do no work. But then they're the first person to ask you, where did you check in with such and such? Did you get that thing done? Because we got to get done. So did you get it done? Like, what's this we stuff? Because I'm doing all the work. So you got different dynamics like that, but the personalities just have to align, getting on the same page. And I think, again, because of his youth, they're going to look at each other kind of as equals, because that's an awkward situation for Mannion, not for Jalen. Jalen's under contract. He ain't going nowhere. Mannion is the one that's got to make it work. So he'll be, again, I think his experience as an NFL quarterback and not too long out of the league works to our benefit.
I'll say this too. To everybody's point about nobody wanting a job in Philly, just for this moment here, let's just roll with that, right? Let's roll with that. Just for a brief moment, Marcus. Let's say nobody wanted the job in Philly. Let's take it a step further. What was the reasons they said? The reason they said, oh yeah, either you get hired or you get fired, or the environment's expectations are too high, it leaves too much room for a coach to either rise like a phoenix or fall and burn into the ashes. You know, the disparity between success and failure is too wide, right? The fan base, they mentioned all those things, right? If you want to give Sean Mannion credit for anything, give him credit for having balls, for saying, you know what? Y'all don't want this gig? Oh, y'all must not see what I see. I see passion. I see dedication. I see investment, not just from the organization, but I see investment from the fan base. I don't care what anybody says. You don't want to go anywhere where nobody does not care about what you do. Nobody wants to work anywhere irrelevant. Nobody wants to work for anybody that's not going places.
Right.
So when you think about it from that perspective, say what you want about the Philadelphia Eagles fans. When you rocking or we rolling, and we'll bleed for you. We'll fight for you. We'll hold it down in any city we in. Just check the captain's log. Check the flight manifest. Just check the flight manifest. Wherever they at, we going. You come in, you do your job. You come in, you hold it down. You're effective. You're useful. You see, I always think back to one of my favorite quotes in life from one of my favorite actors, one of my favorite people, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he had a quote in his documentary series that came out on Netflix a few years ago. And he said it came by way of his father. And he didn't have the greatest relationship with his dad. But he said, the one thing his dad taught him in life, he said, Arnold, be useful.
Facts.
Be useful. When you come to Philadelphia, if you're useful, you ain't got to pay for another cheesesteak in the city again.
Facts.
You ain't got to pay for another water ice, another soft pretzel in the city again. You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We gonna give it up, and we gonna listen. Shane Steichen, he didn't win it for us, but we know Shane Steichen wasn't the problem. Shane Steichen still get love, at least from me. You know what I'm saying? Kellen Moore, hey, he was a Cowboy, but he won it as an Eagle. He get love from me.
Exactly.
You feel what I'm saying? Like Brian Dawkins, he didn't win the bowl for us, but hey, Brian Dawkins is goated in the city. He get love from me. Came to work every Sunday. Put in the man hours. Monday through Saturday. Hey, Andy Reid, things didn't go our way, but hey, Andy Reid gave us his best. Went through it all. 2 lost kids.
Yeah.
Lost kids in this city. We didn't get Andy Reid at his best, but he still showed up.
A lot of people don't bring that up a lot, man. They forget about that.
It matters.
And guess what? When that happened, those were some sketchy circumstances too. Because the kid was involved with some stuff.
They was his kid. I think both his kids passed away, right?
2 of them, yeah.
Both his sons.
I thought he had 2 sons, but I thought he had more kids. I could be
know
wrong.
He had another son that got into fender bender, right before the Super Bowl. I mean, they still won the bowl, but they got into a fender bender.
Yeah.
No, they lost that bowl against Tampa Bay. That was that bowl. One of his sons got into a little fender bender.
Yeah.
And they said he was under the influence. Nonetheless, though,
drunk driving. Yeah.
The point is, Philadelphia is a city that will embrace the hell out of you. Philadelphia is like a black mother. She gonna build you up. She gonna love you down. She gonna invest in you. She gonna pour into your cup. She gonna make sure you're full. She gonna make sure your belly warm. She gonna tuck you in. But if you leave out that house and don't lock the door, if you don't take the chicken out the freezer, knowing she's supposed to cook that night,
if you don't turn out the lights in the morning,
if she catch you in that kitchen past 8 o'clock, she on your ass. So all I'm trying to say is, you do right by us, we gonna do right by you.
Man,
gonna do right by you.
Tone, I'm peeking at this the Pro Bowl games or whatever they doing. Boy, this looks like straight trash, man. This looks like straight trash.
For sure.
I see you in the game, Zach Bond.
It's my guy.
Boy, they playing flag football. The Pro Bowl used to be so good.
And by the way, Sean Mannion, shout out to Darth Panda. And by the way, I found out how to bring up the super chats all on one side again. All you got to do is star one of them, and then it'll ask you if you want to highlight all of them, and it'll create a separate tab for you.
Gotcha.
So yeah, just star one of them, and it'll do it for you.
Gotcha.
But Darth Panda brought up a super chat here that's pretty interesting. If you could pull it up for us, that'd be fantastic. He says, you guys should read an article from Bleeding Green Nation. He posted it yesterday where he did a breakdown about Mannion's plays from the Shrine Bowl. Sean Mannion was invited.
I didn't read it, but I know they were talking about. I heard a lot of people commenting on it.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, Sean Mannion was invited. He won the honor, or earned the honor rather, of being the offensive coordinator. One of the offensive coordinators in the East-West Shrine Bowl, which is a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. So now let's transition to Josh Grizzard. We briefly touched on it. Josh Grizzard's path is interesting, only because with Tampa Bay, he was their pass game coordinator, then got elevated to OC, and then back as a passing coordinator in Philadelphia. He's a guy that earned his keep, was an offensive quality control coach in Miami, a wide receivers coach in Miami, a quality coach. He's been through the whole promoted demoted thing a few times in his career. In particular in Miami, they went through some coaching changes, went from Brian Flores and Matt McDaniel. But he still managed to maintain a role on the roster. In Tampa Bay, most recently, was promoted, was hired, promoted, then fired.
Yeah.
So the Josh Grizzard thing is interesting because I see a guy who, in my opinion, got the short end of the stick in Tampa Bay. Here's why. I know Liam Cohen was the OC in 2024, and we saw Tampa Bay's offense doing great things. Again, Josh Grizzard was the passing coordinator, so he was a part of that. But Liam Cohen had a luxury in 2024 that Josh Grizzard didn't have in 2025. That luxury was health. That Tampa Bay team, in particular on offense, broke down in the second half of the season. Broke down. Mike Evans played, 4 games this year? Chris Godwin was supposed to be back fully healthy, barely played this year. Their best receiver was a rookie, Emeka Ibuka, who had a really good year. Don't get it twisted, and he did his job. But Emeka Ibuka couldn't even afford to take a game off. I mean, I think he missed a game too, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure I got that right. They were decimated. So Emeka played in all 17 games, started in 13 of them. But they were decimated at the skill position. They were injured on the offensive line. Their star running back, Bucky Irvin, I believe it is, right? He was in and out of the lineup with injuries.
Yep.
That offense couldn't stay on the football field from a health perspective. So, of course, something has to change. Something has to shake. And Josh Grizzard was on the chopping block. So, for those who want to try to use that as a way to say, this guy got fired. Why would you bring him in? Things aren't as cut and dry as they seem.
Dayball got fired, and they that's the way it works. It ain't too many people walking away from jobs. And just because you got fired, was it a new regime, coaching change, new GM? There's always a reason for it. People don't, sometimes they get fired because they didn't do a bad job. But did Sean McDermott get fired because he did a bad job, or because the quarterback had a bad game or a bad playoff series? So, that you got reasons. A lot of people think Kevin Patullo should. People that are hating on Jalen Hurts think Kevin Patullo shouldn't have been fired. So, how you gonna fire a guy after 1 year and be like, Well, what would he have done in the second year when you got somebody like what's the guy from that came from New England? What's his name? That gets he get all them damn chances to be a coach.
Who? Josh McDaniel?
Josh McDaniels, thank you. Every chance in the world to be a coach. And even now people talk about him in high regard. And it's like he ain't never really done anything.
Especially not as a head coach.
Renege on the situation, and like he definitely hasn't lived up to the hype, in my opinion.
The Josh McDaniel arc is always interesting to me because for some reason he can only coach in one area code. How often does an offensive coordinator survive 2 or 3 different regimes? I mean,
exactly.
Like
exactly. If anybody else would have done the things that he did, they would never coach in the league again.
The way he reneged on certain organizations, and he
would not. That person would not be in the league. They'd be coaching XFL or something, or up in Canada, or relegated to coaching in college.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why this dude gets the benefit of the doubt time and time and time again.
He does, but I will say, if you got a Patriots jersey on, he know how to coach you. He's getting the best out of Drake May. Good. Is he? I mean, look where they are.
Yeah, you're right.
Look where they are.
Pause. They are in the Super Bowl, but
second year, by the way.
Drake May's performance in the playoffs has been dreadful. I do not see
that's a good
Drake
point.
May beating Sam Darnold.
That's a good point. Some argue he may be hurt, but nonetheless, if you're on the football field, get it done.
You got expectations, bro.
Big ones. You're gonna be listen. If Drake May, if he loses this game, that's strike number 1 for the Tom Brady lovers, because there's expectations in New England. Everything is cute right now for Drake May.
Yeah,
everything is cute right now. But you lose this game, because we all know all too well it ain't easy to get back.
I want to hear that. I want to hear that narrative on all of the Drake May lovers.
It ain't easy to get back.
Nope.
I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I think Drake May is very good.
I don't think he's reached his potential yet.
Oh, of course not. He's in year 2. Of course not. But I think he's trending in the right direction. I like Drake May. But that organization has lofty expectations, and look, they're going to be in the mix for a while as long as he stays healthy, and they continue to build around him and so on and so forth. He can play.
Yeah,
his playoff run hasn't been desirable, but he can play.
We'll see. We'll see if he puts it together this week.
But again, it's cute right now. They're in the big game. You better not lose it. New England that's Boston. That's Boston. New England, they're winners over there.
Yeah.
Don't lose this game, Drake. You see, Seattle can handle it. New England, no.
We'll see. It matters what you do in the playoffs. Yes, you get a lot of credit if you got there, but if you get there and don't get it done, what did you do? So take the moral victories if you want to. Philly don't get that benefit of the doubt. Let me just say it like that. We don't get that benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm. Philly definitely doesn't get that benefit of the doubt. And all Philly has ever done is be on your screen Sunday nights, Monday nights, Thursday nights, playoffs, January, February. It's all they've done. That's why when you really zoom out and you think about what people say about Philly or try to say about the way the Eagles do business, how they hire guys, how they fire guys, their infrastructure, when you really zoom out and really try to listen to those people, you realize, they're just pissing in the wind. it sounds good when you're yelling and you talk real fast and you got all the makeup and the suits and you got the backdrop and the graphics. It sounds good. Yeah, Philadelphia doesn't know that job is not desirable, or Philadelphia isn't the team you want to coach in that fan base in that organization. Either they're winning Super Bowls or their first round playoff exits. So it's like, well, we all know winning the Super Bowl isn't easy. Getting there ain't easy.
No.
Getting into the playoffs ain't easy. But
No, you got a lot of fans with unrealistic expectations.
But we're talking about an organization who's been in, let me make sure I got this right. It's 2026. So 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026. That's 9 Super Bowls. The Eagles have been in 3 of the last 9 Super Bowls. And that's a 34% clip.
That's a pretty damn good clip.
All things considered.
Yes.
And in the past 5 seasons, they made the playoffs every single year. At the very least, you want a shot at the apple. And the Eagles have always had a shot at the apple. Now, did they always stack up against the competition? Maybe not. But when they had the pieces and when they made the right moves, they were in it. 2 out of the last 5 Super Bowls they were in.
They made things happen.
Come on, man.
They made things happen.
Come on. Let's keep it funky now. Let's keep it funky.
Man, you have to. I mean, and I'm saying this, and I understand and acknowledge what it is to be a fan, what fandom is, and most people still listen to the sports talk radio and all of that type of stuff. But at some point, you got to step back and let things happen the way they're supposed to happen. That nothing has changed. There's going to time where we're going to be back in camp. We're going to be getting ready for the first preseason game. We're going to go through 4 weeks of that. Then we're going to be getting ready for the season opener. And we're going to say, what do you expect today? And it ain't going to change. We got to establish the line of scrimmage to run the ball. And we got to find a way to dominate on offense and tackle on defense and all the stuff we say. It never changes. But who's leading the ship will determine how the ship comes into port. That's it. Who's running the ship? Can they navigate these waters in a reasonable fashion? Kevin Patullo couldn't. It wasn't all his fault. But since he is the one with the position, heavy is the crown, man.
Yeah, and let's be honest about this too. Under Kevin Patullo, and I'm counting even the 2021 season, this is the most flat the Eagles offense has ever looked.
Yes.
I don't care what people say. And he had more talent than Shane Steichen in 2021. Had way more talent. This is the flattest this offense has looked. And it was unacceptable. And I think what stood out the most was, it would have been different if there was like a steady performance. Like, okay, this is just what they are. They're here. But you knew it was coaching when it was doing this, in my opinion.
When it was up and down, the bipolarness.
If it's staying quite literally where it is, you can say to yourself, okay, this team is playing up to this potential. This is who they are. This is what they are. That's personnel. When you showing me these Mount Everest peaks and these Mariana Trench valleys, that's coaching to me.
Yeah, and it's part of the process, man. It's part of the process, and you expect your coach to get you out of that process.
And to make it even worse, we're not talking about peaks and valleys over the course of a season. We're talking peaks and valleys, quarters and halves at a time. It's not like we talking about, oh, the Eagles were hot for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, then they got cold.
Right.
7, 8, 9 weeks. Then they got really. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking week 1, quarter 1, quarter 2, week 1, quarter 3, quarter 4, week 2, quarter 3, quarter 1. That's coaching to me. The peaks and valleys in the midst of a game. You
still
can't
being able
convince
to
me.
Come out on top.
You can't convince, and that's the talent part. You can't convince me all these players all of a sudden forgot how to play football over the course of a half.
No.
You can't. You can't convince me that all of a sudden these opposing defenses completely cracked the code on these guys.
Right.
I'm not saying they didn't, but they cracked the code because there was no code. The safe was already open. There was no code to crack. The safe was open. They walked in and said, "Oh, damn. They left the keys in the door."
Pretty much.
So, that's why Kevin Patullo deserved to be fired. Did Jalen Hurts have his best year? No. Did the offensive line have their best year? No. And I put a lot of their failures this year on the lack of running game. But I know what those guys are truly. I think they were dealing with a lot of injuries on that line. I think that entire line was more hurt than they let on.
Absolutely.
I think Mailata was hurt too, but he gutted it out all year. I think that entire line was hurt. I think that 2,000-yard rushing season did more damage to them than it did to Saquon Barkley.
Yes, that part. Because at no time in his 2,000-yard campaign was he trying to make people miss in the backfield. It happened, but it didn't happen often. Nowhere near as much as it happened this year. So
I'm curious to see where Sean Mannion takes this. We're going to find out. We're going to find out like we always do. Those first several weeks is going to tell us everything. And I think at the very least, this should make the Eagles one of the most interesting case studies in the 2026 season.
I think right now it's more important that we replace the defensive coaches. Vic Fangio, I don't know what he's going to do. I don't think he's going anywhere. But Mike McDaniels Mike McDaniels. If Vic Fangio decides to leave, what I would hope to happen if this is his last year with the Eagles, I would like to see a press conference before we get to the bye week to announce that and let everybody know Clint Hurt is going to take over. That's what I would like to see.
That'd be interesting.
He already lost the guy to the Cowboys.
Because I thought if he would retire, because that's been the word, right? I thought Christian Parker would be next up.
Yep, he took the gig out there in Dallas, though.
Yeah, Clint Hurt does have experience as a DC. He does have experience as a DC in Seattle, I think, right?
Yes.
And that defense wasn't bad. They weren't bad at all. I just think they lacked the personnel for the most part. And it was what it was. Okay, yeah, so he was the assistant. He spent the bulk of his coaching career in Seattle from 2017 to 2023. In 2017 to 2021, he was the assistant head coach and defensive line coach. And 2022 to 2023 for 2 seasons, he was the DC. So, look, again, I don't think their defenses were terrible under him. I just think that talent that they cultivated matured.
Yes.
And now we're seeing the fruits of that. They also have a defensive-minded head coach too, and what's his name? Mike McDonald, something like that. What's the dude's name? Something McDonald.
It might be Mike McDonald. I don't know.
Regardless, though, we'll see. We'll see when it comes to Clint Hurt because Fangio obviously brought him in. He's somebody he trusts, somebody he respects.
And also, let me say this.
Yeah.
Because I heard a lot of rhetoric today and yesterday about Vic Fangio kind of him-hawing about his decision. And I'm like, hold on. When somebody's going to make that decision, it's up to them to understand and know when it's time to go. They can have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Don't matter. They could be 3/4 of a way out. And if they decided they want to play, ain't nothing that you can say that's going to stop them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And also, let's be clear about this too when it comes to Vic Fangio. For those of you talking about the retirement stuff, and maybe he thought about, maybe he's considering it, maybe he's not. One thing I know about Vic Fangio, I don't care what these so-called sources say. When Vic Fangio wants you to know something, he gonna tell you. And
he be real.
Vic Fangio is the type that he ain't gonna let nothing slip through the cracks.
Nah, he ain't gonna sugarcoat it.
I think this is pure speculation. I think this is people just trying to, you know how some people try to get ahead of a story and therefore they just throw things out there, or you know what it is, they talk to people and they don't have a definitive source, but this person that's a source says, I wouldn't be surprised if he retires after this season. And then they get enough of those, and then they say sources around the league say this could be Fangio's last year. Well, anybody can say I wouldn't be surprised because he's older. Anybody can say I wouldn't be surprised if they trade Patrick Mahomes. You ask enough people, all of a sudden, sources around the league say Patrick Mahomes could be traded. That's not enough for me, especially how Vic Fangio carries himself. He's gonna let you know.
He's an old school coach.
And let's be clear about this too. Let's not act like he showing signs of wear and tear.
Exactly.
let's not even jump out the window. Let's not even start looking. Let's not even look for the cracks in the armor. This brother,
he want to stay home and spend time with his family. Because he's almost 70 years old. And he been coaching for how long? 30, 40 years? Or longer?
I'm in the streets.
He owes somebody some time.
This man is triple platinum in the streets. So whatever Vic Fangio want to do, it's going to be a salute from me. But he ain't showing signs of slowing down.
I don't think so. He'll walk away when he's good and damn ready.
He'll walk away when he wants to.
They were smart. They would do it like they did Jason Kelce. Find your replacement. If you think it's on the squad and you want to promote Clint Hurt or whoever, then do it. If not, we going on a search.
Exactly. There's certain people you have to involve them in your process when you respect them that much and when they've shown you that much. Jason Kelce, same thing. I'm still not giving up on Cam Jurgens. He had a bad year. It happens.
Oh, absolutely.
Kelce had bad years. It took Kelce a while. It took Kelce until what? Like, Kelce really didn't figure it out until 2017.
Right.
Like, he almost lost his job. So, guys, Cam Jurgens has shown us way more good than bad, way more. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, when you're in it and when you're going throughout the season with a person, it frustrates you because you see how he's become a liability with the health, and how he's clearly compromised but still playing. But I trust his preparation. I trust his pedigree. I trust what he's done. I trust the people who developed him. I trust the people who scouted him, and I trust the people who vouched for him. So, when it comes to Vic Fangio, hey, who you want to take this job? Who you think we should aim for? You point, we shoot. The game ain't gonna spit out Vic Fangio.
No. He got too much history. His coaching tree is solid. And you got plenty of examples of people that try to run his style of offense and ultimately fail.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people, they say, are Vic Fangio disciples, and they can't quite crack his code. They come close.
They come close.
They can't quite crack it.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, the Eagles have been trying to get to the Vic Fangio. They've been trying to get to the top of the Vic Fangio pyramid for a long time.
Isn't that why Desai got hired?
That's why Gannon got hired. Gannon was a Vic Fangio disciple in terms of how he designed his defenses. You know, bend but don't break.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that first Super Bowl year. That's exactly what we did. Bent but no break, and all over the field, and it was working. It was working.
Mm-hmm.
And
to
gave up a few
that last game of the year.
To that last game of the year.
But that's the difference, and that's the part of it. That's the part about no matter how much you study Vic Fangio, if you can't beat him. Vic Fangio knows how to make adjustments. He knows
been
how
on the chessboard too long, man.
He's been on the chessboard too long.
When he's ready to go, he can go. But until that time, I hear him say that, no, we not kicking him out. No, we not going in a different direction. And if that's what y'all think, man, y'all going about y'all business. Go on about your business. Because you don't want to win.
Vic Fangio has been solidified.
Yeah.
First year in the city, Super Bowl, straight Super like Bowl. That. And his side of the ball didn't get carried either. No. They paid their half of the rent weekly. They carried the pail weekly. And in the big game, he called his best game. His best game. Didn't blitz one time. They was cooking crack in fish grease. Let's keep it player. Keep it player.
Stop. Pause. Golly. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Hey, listen, Marcus. You can take the bar at the hood.
Man.
But you can't take
Let's get to these super chats so we can get up out of here, man. This is messing around with you. We read the one from Justin Long. I wanted to read this from Dark Panda. No, we saw the one with Dark Panda, and this one. So I saw the quote that says there are coaches who are good scheme guys and others who develop guys. That's what it looks like we are doing. A little bit of both. I wouldn't disagree with that. I wouldn't disagree with that at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good stance to take. You developing your coaching staff for the future. Now, whether they stay or not, that's a whole different conversation. But there you have it.
Yeah, man. I think what the Philadelphia Eagles have been able to do tremendously on the defensive side is be able to marry scheme with personnel. They've done a phenomenal job at marrying scheme with personnel and developing those players within that scheme to maximize the scheme. That's the perfect example. What you saw this season and the season prior was the perfect marriage between personnel and scheme and coaching. I think when you get to the offense side of the ball, you're asking Sean Mannion to come in and really not necessarily reinvent the wheel, but you're asking him to bring in his own spokes. Does that make sense? You're asking him to come in and look, this playbook, we've won with it. That's not the problem. The ingredients aren't the problem. The cookbook isn't the problem. We had somebody in the kitchen that was burning boiling water. So we're asking Sean Mannion to come in and create some sustenance. Hey, Sean Mannion, can you come in and make some bacon and eggs? Hey, Sean Mannion, can you make a turkey and cheese sandwich with a side of potato chips with side of potato chips? You know, hey, Sean Mannion, can you make a nice meatloaf, mashed potato and peas dinner?
That's the big question though.
Can you come in and do the staples?
That's the question that people want to know. That's the biggest question mark, X factor, unknown variable that we have. Is he going to improve upon what we had last year? That is the only thing we should be worried about. If he does, that's a win. We got the right guy. But if he doesn't, and you gotta look at it from the standpoint of, is it really hard to be better than Kevin Patullo?
Yeah. That's a good point.
So the bar is very low. We still got Saquon. We still got Smitty. You know, I don't know what they're going to do with Dallas, and we don't know what's going to happen with A.J. Brown. But let's just assume at least A.J. stays. You still got that three-headed monster with your two receivers and your quarterback.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's true. That is true. But I think we pretty much covered it, y'all. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I'm really curious to see, what this looks like. Jalen Hurts is the quarterback for the foreseeable future. And no matter what people say about him, the ceiling is Super Bowl MVP.
That never changes.
And Mike Greenberg said something pretty interesting. I think yesterday or the day before. Yeah, and he finds himself getting caught up in the nonsense too, but he said something actually of substance not too long ago. I think it was a couple days ago this week. He said organizations have spent too much time trying to find their Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, and it's forced people to become unrealistic about the quarterback position. The reality, and that's the gist of what he said. I want to expand upon that. The reality is you want to find somebody that you can win with on a consistent basis. And that doesn't mean trying to find the unicorn. That doesn't mean trying to find the needle in the haystack. That doesn't mean trying to find the gold at the end of the rainbow. Everybody been trying to hit home runs with quarterbacks. Sometimes you need to find a guy that can consistently get you on base. Sometimes you need to find a guy that can consistently get you doubles.
Yeah, that means that you got to know your personnel.
And a lot of these coaches, a lot of these GMs, a lot of these owners, they're so nervous and they're so eager to win. They don't take the time to really understand their personnel. I think I give the Eagles so much credit for really understanding their personnel. They saw a quarterback that had the leadership it took to be at the position. They invested in them. They developed them. They built around them. And all you want from a guy is to be able to make good on what you gave him. I don't care where he was drafted. I don't care how you feel about him from a draft perspective or a scouting report perspective. When you gave him the tools, did he build you a house? Or did he burn it the hell down? As far as I know, Jalen Hurts can build a house. HGTV type shit.
Well, Jalen Hurts just threw a touchdown in the Pro Bowl. A flag football touchdown, man. Listen, it still comes down to at the end of the day, you got to win the chess match on the field. And I think he can do that. So that's going to be the biggest question mark. More than anything else, what is he going to tweak in the offense? What is he going to tweak in the offense? And he's going to have complete anonymity, complete autonomy. That's the word they use. Complete autonomy with the offense. And it's all okay. Well, I believe it when I see it.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's still Nick Sirianni's playbook. And you talk about all the time. These playbooks got thousands of plays in it.
Absolutely.
They all don't suck. You need somebody that just know how to use the play.
I did like the conversation they were having about motion, though. I did like that conversation. To use it, not use it, it ends up becoming the pain in the ass. But it works. You can get yourself a good mismatch based on motion.
You can.
Well, you can't now, but
you can. So we'll see, man.
I think that he's going to come with some new ideas. I know Jalen doesn't like it, but he'll be more apt to try something different, especially the way this season ended. So most people will be open to a whole lot of other things.
Yeah, and the narrative is Jalen Hurts only likes this, only likes that. He can only run simple concepts, simple
Miss
offense.
me with that.
I'll be honest, all that is coded to me.
Miss me with that.
If you catch my drift, Marcus, all that language is coded.
Yeah.
So, Jalen Hurts is on record many a time saying, "Hey, we rely too much on deep shots. We're not taking advantage of the middle of the field enough. We have to stop playing not to lose." Jalen Hurts is on record holding this offense accountable, in particular the staff.
Yep.
So overall, we'll see how it goes.
Green Wingman, thank you for the super chat. This year's no excuse not to get wide receiver 3 involved. I agree 100%. Jahan Dotson, Cooper. If Wilson is healthy, I agree with you. Yes.
But Dotson a free agent. I doubt he comes back. Somebody's going to take a chance on him and give him maybe a 2 or 3 year deal.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is more into the offense.
We got Dagger at the bottom, I think.
I like a little bit more speed at wide receiver 3.
I didn't think speed was a problem. Dotson was a deep threat whenever he got the shot.
Yeah, I don't think speed is the issue.
I didn't think speed was the issue. Nonetheless, though, that's all I got.
Yeah,
that's
man.
all I got.
Back to the Pro Bowl. Enjoy your last days as a Super Bowl champion.
See, you said that a couple times, man, and I'm not jacking that. Only because they can't take it from us.
No, they can't. But we are the defending Super Bowl champions until there is another, and we will find that out this week.
I'll roll with that.
Guess what?
Part. I'll roll with that.
Do me a favor, everybody in the chat. Put a thumbs up or thumbs down. Do you think that this game is going to be boring? Because it has not been a lot of buzz about this game this week.
It hasn't.
And I'm thinking, is it me? Is it just because I'm so Philly-centric that if the Eagles ain't in it, I'm not paying attention? And I'm like, that's not it. That's not it. And it just seems like there is no buzz about this. I'm going to predict that these going to be some of the worst ratings that we've had in the Super Bowl in a while.
Yo, to your point, because again, I'm not in Philly, by the way. So I get a chance to hear different perspectives a lot. It just doesn't seem like I don't hear people talking about Super Bowl parties.
Yeah, it ain't popping like that.
I don't see the commercials, the crazy promos,
Not that I was gonna go, but I just got my invite. NFL alumni always get an invite to like the Super Bowl parties.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I wonder how much response they're getting down there for this type of stuff. Who's flying in the Cali to watch this game?
Yeah. Also, it's in Santa Barbara too. Like, it's not New Orleans. New Orleans is everybody want to go to New Orleans.
Everybody want to go to New Orleans. Not so much. The golf course is going to be full out there in California.
Oh, for sure.
It's just not a lot of buzz with it.
Yeah.
Seahawks ain't popping like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see, man. Santa Clara. I said Santa Barbara. Santa Clara. Thank you, Chris.
I knew it was a Santa something.
Yeah, Santa Clara. That's what it is.
They're gonna need Santa to get some good viewership out of it.
Yeah. I just think this playoff run felt weird anyway. In general, you got a young Drake May, second-year player. You got a Sam Darnold who, has been slowly building his profile over the past couple of years, but this is by far his best year as a quarterback in the league. Also, I think it's two quarterbacks who just aren't interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They're not interesting.
Well, we'll see if
Mahomes is interesting. No matter how you feel about him.
If Sam Darnold don't choke it up.
Yeah, we'll see, man. It's a big.
I don't see Drake May beat him. But that's why they play the game. Play the game. Oh, this is going to be one of the worst halftime shows. I already predicted. Don't nobody know. They don't want to see Bad Bunny. Most people don't even know who he is.
Oh, wait, hold on. Bad Bunny, I don't listen to his music like that, but when I hear it, it's definitely fire. But Bad Bunny is the international superstar. He just doesn't speak English. He doesn't speak good English.
Right, but I ain't gonna be honest with you.
And all his songs are in Spanish, so it's definitely not a show that the average American or the average person is going to be like, running towards it. But Bad Bunny is
Oh.
huge, Mark. I'm telling you. I'm listening.
No. I understand that now. But when I first heard he was announced, I thought Bad Bunny was a woman.
Oh yeah, you were OG for sure.
I thought Bad Bunny was like a Cardi B clone or something like that.
You're hilarious. And
I did not know it was a dude.
And remember, they're on the West Coast. Heavy Latino population.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be rocking. It's gonna be rocking out there.
That makes sense. Hispanic, Asians, bruh.
Bad Bunny is him.
It's out there.
Just won the Grammy for Best Album of the Year. Bad Bunny is that dude. International, he's global. Like they call him. And anyway, the point is, this Super Bowl is definitely going to be interesting.
We gonna see, bro,
for different reasons. All right, let's actually get out of here this time. Smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Subscribe to Pro Fan Talk. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Chalk It Up Sports. It means a lot to us. It goes a long way. You guys know how we give it up here. He's Coach Marcus, aka Marcus Thomas. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II. You guys have been tuning into the Bald Eagles podcast. As always, fly Eagles fly.
Last days of the Super Bowl champion, man. We'll be back soon. We'll talk about the game next Tuesday. All right. Go Birds.
In the city of Philly, where the birds take flight, Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Marcus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Moore Street lights, dashing like a running back, hitting every play. Fly guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. I like an eagle soaring in the sky. Tone and Marcus always standing by, bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Fly like an eagle soaring in the sky. Tone and Marcus always standing by, bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad.